Wow. Well, I came out in the late 70s, just before, and in San Francisco, and the party was in full swing, and I indulged in it completely. And so many of my friends got sick and died in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I could probably sit here and name 50 or 100 people that I knew well that are gone. And if I stop and think, just so many. It was going to memorial services was a regular thing for a while there. I've had a couple of my past lovers died of AIDS, and I still remember my first friend who told me that he had AIDS, and when he died in like 1985 or something, And I've been positive myself for about 20 years, but thank God I've been healthy and asymptomatic. But it's affected me hugely. I think what Brian was saying, that thing about a break in sort of the passing on of the culture, probably has a lot. I mean, I remember being on Castro Street when it was sad and empty, and then I've watched it come back again to life again. So it's a lot of interesting things have happened. I saw a coming together of sort of the male and the female parts of the gay community during the AIDS crisis, because I remember lesbians and women being very instrumental in supporting gay men through the AIDS crisis. And there seems to be less of a division now between lesbians and gay men than there seemed to be when I first came out.
How do you feel about that?
I agree, totally. I'm 38 and I came out when I was 22. But even from early on, I've got a gay brother as well, so he's older than I am, and so between us we had, we all had gay friends and lesbian friends and all hung around in a group, and so it felt like we'd go to each other's venues so it was less kind of, you do this and we do this. It's a lot of support for each other. So it does definitely, and now it feels that there's lots of places to go where we can all go, and it feels alright and feels okay. Although I do like women-only spaces as well. I mean, I don't like I do, but I also like to have mixed settings that it feels comfortable.
Who came out first, you or your brother?
My brother came out first a year before me, because we're from a small town. We were like, God, that's odd. We are odd. It's not, we were like, we're quite odd, but actually, when we moved to London, he moved to London before me, I realised that there's loads of people with gay siblings. And in my friendship group, I know quite, maybe 10 people who've got a gay brother or sister, or two, or I met a man in Camden, in the Black Cap actually. He was a guy from Northern Ireland, a gay man, and he's got like
6.
Do you know him?
Must be getting on.
He said to me,
all his brothers and sisters.
he said to me, he goes, "Oh, your siblings, like my brother and I look alike." And then I said, "Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, I have." And we were like, "No way."
Was he the blonde one or the dark haired?
The dark haired one.
Yeah,
Good looking chap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he told us this story about having all these gay brothers, and his mum and dad were like, and they're all, he said they're all quite good looking. And he was a good looking guy, and I said, God, imagine them going out, and what would that place, when they hit that place, what would it be like, to be on the other end of all of that?
I think 2 of them identified as straight.
Right, okay.
So they kind of went, we got 2 of them.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but everybody was amazed, because that was years ago. I knew them, and I knew that there was a sister, a short girl, and my jaw dropped when it was like,
because we thought we were strange, the 2 of us, but my brother came out before me, and my mum and dad were, strangely enough, my dad had more issues with it than my mum with him, and then my mum had more issues with me than my dad, so a gender thing happened there. And also they're from a smaller town. It was more about what was going to happen to us and what other people were going to think about them. So they found it difficult in the beginning. What have we done, and what's happening, but this is years ago now. They're all completely on board and very supportive. And my little brother, he's not a little brother, he's like a 35-year-old man, but he's my little brother. When sometimes he goes out the door and he says, "Don't worry, Mum, I'm still straight." All right, so but my brothers are all, I've got 4 brothers, and they're all supportive and stuff. But yeah, I think it's we were quite a supportive family in the end.
So the question of family acceptance, you're talking about epic charity and...
Yeah, to be honest with you, to be totally frank, I've never really been in to be out. Again, I'm probably going to reinforce a lot of stereotypes. I mean, I do grow up in a very big family. I'm the oldest of 7 children. I grew up on a council estate with a single mother. My dad left very early on. From about the age of, since I was born, I knew I was gay. As soon as I came out, I probably was screaming because I probably didn't have the right shoes on. We grew up on a typical council estate. I mean, I always knew I was gay. Probably other people always knew I was gay. I probably didn't properly realise until we moved away from London and we lived in a predominantly white area. We moved to Epping. My mum got the chance to move out and she wanted a better life for us, so she wanted to live in the council estate. So we got a chance to move to Epping. Now that threw up a completely new things for me. One, because you're never more aware of your skin colour living in a predominantly place that you don't associate with. And then 2, I was gay as well, which was a big issue because, you're in an area where your race is a very big thing and then you're gay on top of it. And I think from 11 up until about 16, because that would have been teenage kind of school years, was very hard. And, I think for me it made it easier looking back now, in retrospect, because I lived in a white area, growing up with them fears, because I don't think I'd be sitting here with everybody had I be on the council estate, being black and gay and growing up them fears. It'll be completely different. So I can look back now and say, oh, that's good that I had all them fears in a white area where my mum was able to kind of shield me a little bit, because I don't think she'd be able to do that on that same council estate, I don't think I'd even be here. I'll be totally honest, I don't think I'd be sitting with you people. I don't think, because I've seen a lot of people kind of fight that, you hear about killings because of, and I do look back and I do think, wow, the biggest thing for me when I was at school was, oh my God, everybody, I'm black and I'm gay, And like it's, same sort of thing other people were saying, it was people's acceptance that was harder for me. And for a long while, it's only when I went to college and I did performing arts, I sort of realised that the problem actually wasn't me, because I was in a class full of mixed people who were black, white, straight, who didn't actually care. It actually wasn't a big thing. And for a very long while, for about 3 or 4 months, I was like, well, why aren't they saying stuff? Why am I not this? Why is it not a big thing? And it's partly for that. And then when you go out the classroom and you get stick from other black boys, because it was mainly black people I was getting stick from, I then came to realise that the problem wasn't actually me. It was actually other people's perception of me, and that for a long while has been a very big struggle for me, because back then I was quite effeminate, quite loud and quite, darling, I'm fabulous and this is me. And it wasn't until one day, funnily enough, a black guy pulled me aside at the bus stop and kind of sat me down and said, why do you act like that? And I was like, what are you talking about? So why do you act like that? Do you not think that the way you act is a reflection on us as black people? You insult us. Yeah, I was about 18, 19. You insult us when you go out and act like that. Having said that, we actually had a really good conversation, because I was like, how dare he say that to me? And he kind of analysed it for what it is, and he kind of said, do you get a lot of persecution when you're out? And I said, yeah, of course I do, but I don't care because I'm fabulous. And he kind of explained, as black guys we have it hard, one, we have it hard because we're seen as worthless, we're seen as can't commit, we can't do anything, and then when you act like that, me being quite effeminate, you kind of put us all to shame and stuff. And I said, well, I don't think I do that deliberately, Again, I'm not going to go on, but we had a really kind of deep kind of conversation. He got my phone number. He got my phone number. He's a straight guy, he kind of got my phone number, and he kind of was talking and kind of set me about, like, why I was getting persecuted as much as I did. And it wasn't until that I actually properly realised, one, my black culture. You've got to remember as well, I grew up in a safety net. I grew up in a white area where that was okay, because my mum was shielding me from that. When I did come home from people name calling me, she's like, David, it's fine. You are who you are. My mum allowed me to be who I was. So it's only when we moved back to London that I didn't realise that you weren't supposed to do that, because I've grown up alright. I can do that in Epping, can't do that living in Leighton. It was completely different. So, yeah, I mean, up till now, even now, I still get I'm a lot older now, so I can handle it a little bit better. But primarily, I still get comments from black people, and I'm aware of that because, again, what I represent. As black people, we have struggled. We've come through a lot. Again, for a black guy to be out and to be gay is a massive slap in the face to a lot of people. A lot of black, I'm talking about a lot of black Afro-Caribbean people, because what that is saying to them is that through all that struggle, you go and do that, which kind of brings down our struggle in a way. But my argument to that always is well, we're still fighting the struggle as well. Yeah. You reinforce in what we're saying. I'm fortunate enough that my family, and I talk about my mum's side of the family, are quite accepting. My grandmother still says things that she probably shouldn't say, but however, she's West Indian, she's bound to say, but she's very open-minded. I don't have that much contact with my dad's family, and it's a personal choice. I also think it's a very good choice I've made, because some of the comments that have rained down through my brothers and sisters makes me realise that in actual fact, the bubble that I am living is quite nice. Do not get me wrong, it does get popped now and again when I do walk on the street and I do hear comments. I mean, the biggest thing for me that I don't like is I've got a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old brother who, have grown up with their big brother, same sort of thing you were saying, who've grown up with, having a gay brother. For me, when people are making comments when I'm out, it's a lot of how it affects them. And it'll be interesting to see as they get older how they deal with that within their own peer groups, as being, my baby brother's mixed race as well. So how he deals with having a black older gay brother as being a mixed race person, and as my 12-year-old brother. And I mean, luckily enough, their peers, when I'm introduced, my brother, yeah, he's gay and blah blah blah. Not too many eyebrows get raised, but they're only 12 and 9. It'll be interesting as they get older and they encounter a lot more and they become more aware as black and mixed race people, how that influences them and how they see me. And I'm interested to see that, because my other brothers and sisters kind of have grown up with me being gay. They've seen me as a brother, whereas my younger brothers have seen me as a brother and a parent figure, because our dad hasn't been around. So yeah, I mean, those are my memories. I mean,